Hello and welcome.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
The hospital now offering a 24-hour emergency operation for people who've suffered a stroke. Great news for Steve, who'll see his grandchildren grow up, but too late for Wayne, who died before the new service was introduced.
It's obviously a tragedy that someone's come to harm, but it has made real change, and it's made change faster than it otherwise would have been, I believe.
A roof over their heads for Christmas. So why isn't everyone convinced about Andy Burnham's plans to get rough sleepers off our streets?
Pooling resources, the massive community efforts needed to reopen a much-loved swimming school in Bolton.
Training together, why football legend Peter Reid's daughter Louise will be her dad's biggest fan as he takes on the Great North Run.
And a lively night ahead for many of us, with some thunderstorms on the way. I'll have your full forecast for the rest of the week and towards the weekend.
Well, first tonight, an admission that the tragic deaths of stroke patients has led to a potentially life-saving service being extended to 24 hours a day.
Yeah, people in Lancashire and South Cumbria who suffer a stroke can now get emergency treatment at Royal Preston Hospital around the clock. It brings the area into line with the rest of the northwest.
Yeah, patients can be saved from death or paralysis by a procedure called a thrombectomy. Previously, the operation was only offered by the hospital until 6 p.m. because of shortage of staff.
As Emma Sweeney now reports, the announcement, whilst welcome, is bittersweet as it comes too late for some.
These little badges.
Steve Hill has been a staunch City fan his entire life. So when the Blues were through to the FA Cup final in May, there was no way he was going to miss it. But as he made his way to meet friends, he began to feel a little out of sorts.
When I first got on the train, I did feel a little bit strange. Things were not right with me, and I noticed that my arm and my hand in particular were very numb, and also I was struggling with my legs and standing up.
What Steve didn't realise is he was having a stroke. Luckily, on his way to the pub, he decided to drop into his daughter's house. There, his granddaughter knew straight away that something wasn't quite right.
Our granddaughter, Mia, phoned me because she was really concerned. She said, I don't know what's wrong with him. So I said, well, will you FaceTime me, please, and so I can just look at him. So she FaceTimed me straight away, and I looked at him and his face had dropped. He was mumbling. He wasn't making any sense at all. And I just said, he's having a stroke.
Steve was rushed to Blackpool Hospital, where he was initially treated before being blue-lighted to Preston. There he was given what's known as a thrombectomy, a highly specialised procedure to physically remove a clot from the brain.
Everything's performed under a general anaesthetic. We like people to keep their heads still. And we typically go with an aspiration catheter. There's a few different techniques people can use. We find that's probably safer overall. It took 2 goes to get it out. It didn't want to come out the first time, but second time got it, so that's good.
Up until February, this procedure was only available at Preston during specific hours. Now it's 24/7, and staff here say it'll undoubtedly save lives. But for the family of Wayne Parrott, who spoke to Granada Reports last year, it is too late. He died after suffering a stroke during out of hours in 2024.
So it's obviously a tragedy that someone's come to harm, but it has made real change, and it's made change faster than it otherwise would have been, I believe.
Back in Chorley, Steve has now made a full recovery and is already making plans for next year's FA Cup final.
I'm just hoping that they can do it again and get us there again next time.
And this time you can watch it?
Yes.
Yeah. It was City that spurred him on that day to recover.
And you might watch it as well, Fiona?
I will have to watch it, I think, yes.
Well, we spoke to the family of Wayne Parris, who featured in Emma's report. Wayne, of course, who died after having a stroke before Royal Preston Hospital introduced the 24-hour thrombectomy service. They told us, out of such sad circumstances, it is some comfort to know that all these cases have now pressured the authorities to act, and Lancashire is now covered with a 24/7 service. Although it will not bring back our loved ones, nobody else should have to face this.
And we're sending all our best to Wayne's family and Steve's as well. Well, next tonight, Prime Minister Andy Burnham's promised the North West £37 million as part of a nationwide scheme to offer everyone sleeping rough the chance to have a roof over their head this Christmas.
His announcement follows on from a similar scheme which enjoys some success, especially during COVID while he was Mayor of Greater Manchester.
Yeah, but while homeless charities seem largely supportive, some say the money won't go far enough. Well, Leisha's at Westminster for us now. And Leisha, this sounds like a lot of cash, but inevitably Andy Burnham's plan isn't escaping criticism.
No, I mean, you won't find anyone who thinks this issue isn't important. Last year alone, the number of people rough sleeping in the North West rose by 20%. But today's announcement has only been greeted with a cautious optimism, and that's because everybody knows how big a challenge ending rough sleeping is going to be. We've almost done it before. During the COVID pandemic, the Everyone In scheme got thousands of people off the streets, but that's because there were plenty of hotel rooms just sitting empty. That is not the case now. So while there is new government money to find emergency beds, actually finding them will be a real challenge. And charities say it's not just a matter of getting people through the door either. One we spoke to in Manchester said they welcomed the Prime Minister's ambition, but a long-term solution to homelessness will require bold and sensitive plans.
I think one of the realities of a bed for every night was that when it was put on offer, it ended up being a bed for some people on some of the nights. And what this really needs to focus on is thinking about how it reaches all people where they are, and it thinks about them for the challenges which they are facing in their lives, and recognise that this isn't a one-size-fits-all, it's a complex issue.
So I think with today's announcement, we're seeing both the advantages and disadvantages of Andy Burnham's approach more generally. He is a big picture Prime Minister. We know exactly where he wants to end up, but not exactly how he's going to get there. And that's quite deliberate, really. This isn't a policy super heavy on detail. That's because the Prime Minister wants local leaders to decide for themselves how best to use their new cash. Now, the Conservatives say that lack of detail isn't good enough, that it's not clear how the money has been found, and that Andy Burnham promised to end rough sleeping when he was Greater Manchester Mayor and failed. Well, today the Prime Minister defended his record, saying he'd learnt a lot.
We did bring the numbers right down, but because we were the only area providing a high level of support, more people started to travel and it became difficult. So the only way to achieve everyone in is everywhere doing it. And that's why I've brought this proposal back as Prime Minister. It just says something to me about our standards as a country, our values, how we treat each other, and having a focus on prevention, doing the right thing, and not leave people in a position where their physical health, their mental health just goes into a catastrophic spiral.
So a day of big ideas, but watch this space. In just a few weeks, Andy Burnham will be back here in Parliament for the first time since becoming Prime Minister, and all his promises will be scrutinised like never before.
OK, Leisha, thank you. And you can find out all you need to know about the work of LifeShare on our website. That's at itv.com/Granada.
In other news today, a coroner's ruled that a teenager from Lancashire drowned after suffering cold water shock while swimming with friends in the Lake District. 17-year-old Apsi Ahmed from Poulton died after getting into difficulty while swimming near Windermere in April. The coroner urged people to follow open water swimming advice after a tragic year for deaths in open water.
Tributes have been paid to rider Mauro Poncini, who died following a crash involving two riders during qualifying at the Manx Grand Prix. The incident happened at Crookshanks in Ramsey on the opening lap of Tuesday's evening session. The Swiss Moto Federation says he will forever remain a part of our motorcycling family.
Well, next tonight, it's World Humanitarian Day, and for 60 years, one charity has connected us, the British public, with communities struck by disasters all around the world.
Yeah, the Disasters Emergency Committee launched its first TV appeal in August 1966. Since then, it's raised more than £2.5 billion, covering everything from the Ethiopian famine of the 1980s to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East.
We'll be talking to Anna, a DEC worker from our region, very soon. But first, our reporter Hannah Ludlow has been looking back over 60 years of saving lives.
The first TV appeal for the Disasters Emergency Committee came after an earthquake in eastern Turkey in 1966. The BBC and ITV both ran appeals, raising the equivalent of more than £10 million in today's money.
The DEC system is unique because it actually gives the aid agencies access to broadcasters' airtime in a way that no other organisation can. The three criteria for an appeal are need, the ability of the agencies to help, but above all, public willingness to fund the rescue operation or the aid operation. And that public willingness to help comes from watching the coverage and feeling that there's something I would like to do as a citizen to help these people.
One of the DEC's early appeals in the 1960s was for war victims in Nigeria. Mike Aronson was a young aid worker on the ground.
I went as a relief worker. It was extremely powerful, life-changing experience, really, for me. I think people are just compassionate and generous and want to be offered a safe, reliable way of doing good. And that's what the DEC provides.
Throughout the years, the DEC has impartially supported communities impacted by man-made disasters like war and natural disasters. Among the largest of those was on Boxing Day in 2004, when an earthquake off the coast of Indonesia caused a tsunami which hit 7 countries. Madara Hetiarachi was visiting family in Sri Lanka at the time. She now works for the DEC.
It felt really eerie because we didn't know what was happening. We were thinking of floods. And then as the hours went by, the true picture emerged. And just the sheer devastation at the time, there was rescue efforts coming in. So the scale was huge.
A DEC appeal raised a staggering £392 million. That would be more than £700 million today.
Any donation you're able to give is hugely appreciated.
More recently, events like the Concert for Ukraine, broadcast on ITV following the escalation of the conflict in 2022, played a part in the overall success of the appeal. In 2024, the DEC began its appeal to help people suffering the consequences of the conflict in the Middle East. And just last month, the DEC began its 80th appeal after the earthquake in Venezuela. In just 2 days, the British public raised almost £9 million. That total now stands at £20 million.
Millions of lives changed forever in just moments.
60 years, 80 appeals. The DEC has for decades provided a generous British public with a way to help people in their hour of greatest need.
That's incredible to be reminded of all the work that they do. And joining us now to share her experiences of working for the DEC is Anna Frayne, who's from Wirral. And Anna, thank you so much for coming in to see us. The DEC, you've been working with them for a while, but it's been going for 60 years. Would you say that it's just as relevant and important now? Because it must be, mustn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We see crises, regularly now. And the opportunity that the British public have to donate through to the DEC, it exists so that when people see the devastating news and they want to help, it's somewhere where they can go and they can trust that the 15 UK leading humanitarian agencies will go and deliver a response. We'll be able to be accountable to the British public for where that funding goes.
Anna, how did you get involved with the DEC? Was it an easy decision to make?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think starting my career as an aid worker, I think having the opportunity to work for the Disasters Emergency Committee is something kind of the epitome of that, to be able to work with 15 different agencies that have a huge range of expertise in different areas, and to be able to be part of that national response. It's a UK response really at the time of crisis, and this partnership with broadcasters and those charities, and being able to have something that raises awareness of these disasters.
Well, you've worked all over. You've been in Ukraine, in South Sudan. Most recently, you've been working in Myanmar. You're off to Venezuela in a couple of weeks. How is the work in Myanmar going after the earthquake?
After the earthquake, there was a huge amount of devastation, and at the onset we saw, a lot of delivery to meet people's basic needs. And at this time in the response now, it's transitioning to recovery and trying people to re-establish their homes. But we've seen an amazing response of working with local communities and things for people to repair their homes, get access to clean water again, and work with engineers, and really hope that people now have a more sustainable livelihood and sustainable source of income and food.
And Anna, more and more we are hearing people who will say, look, there are tragedies all around the world, but there are also tragedies here at home, and our first port of call should be looking after our own. What would you say to that?
Well, I think as we see time and time again that people give to the DEC, it's something that people, when you do see the devastation on the news and you do feel impelled that you want to give, that it's something of great importance. For me, where I've seen the impact, of natural disasters or of conflict around the world, it really does give you such a different perspective on the life and the security that we have here in the UK and things. So wanting to support people to kind of rebuild their lives and hope that we can come and meet them at their hour of need, I think is something that's part of the human spirit.
You're doing an amazing job, Anna.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to us today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Here's to the next 60 years. Next tonight, the swimming teachers who've teamed up to resurrect an abandoned swimming pool in Bolton.
Yeah, Nicole Robinson and Laura Shaw jumped at the chance to move in and start their own swimming school. But when they got the keys to the building, they found it was just a lot of work was needed to fulfil their dream. And the local community has stepped in and supported them, but they still need more help.
Jamal Williams-Thomas went to investigate.
So this is our swimming pool.
When swimming teachers Nicole Robinson and Laura Shaw took on a lease to this building in Bolton, they didn't quite realise just what they were actually in for.
So this is our changing rooms. As you can see in here, a little bit more are kind of the damage and the things that we're up against. When we started kind of pulling things back, it just kept getting worse. So we've definitely bitten off way more than we can chew.
It was plastic cladding that was hiding plenty of damage.
We were met with mould, crumbling plaster. So then we decided we needed to take it off the majority of the walls and see what was hiding underneath. And that's when we found rotting walls, the hole in the ceiling.
That's when they took to social media to document their renovation journey. Enter the Bolton community who stepped in to help, donating skills and building materials.
I felt compelled to help out. I know as a local business person myself that I can help out. I think there are a lot of people in the community that will benefit from what's being done here.
The Bubble Hub reel popped into my feed and I saw these two girls, getting their hands dirty, taking on this massive project for the local community.
And it's not going to be cheap.
How long's a piece of string? I mean, really, you'd be looking at upwards of 80, 100k to do this place up, and especially to the good standard that they're wanting to provide.
So there have been points where we've just thought, how are we going to carry on with this? How are we going to manage? But the project matters so much, not just to us, but it matters so much to the community. They've learnt to swim here, their children learnt to swim here, and they want to bring their grandchildren here. And it is a big, asset to this area and to this community, and it needs to stay and it needs to be brought back to life.
Research has shown that a quarter of children in Greater Manchester leave primary school without being able to swim. So when this place is renovated, these guys are going to be offering limited free places for those families who struggle to access swimming lessons. There are also plans for a dance studio, community cafe, as well as provision for disabled people and women-only activities. In a past life, it was known as Swim Smart, and the community are all too happy at the prospect of having the resource back again.
If you say, oh, do you know Swim Smart? Everybody knows what it is, that they did swimming lessons, and most people probably learned to swim here.
And I think from having
talking about it reopening, everybody's like, oh my God, it was a brilliant place. They've just got happy memories of this place.
We would love some help from local tradespeople, plasterers, decorators, builders, plumbers, anybody that can offer services. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing, yeah.
And although they've taken the first step in diving into the project, there's a few more lengths to go before they make a splash in Bolton. Jamal Williams-Thomas, ITV News, Bolton.
And for more details on the appeal, just head to our website.
OK, time for some sport now. Manchester United are about to strengthen their squad. Mike?
Yeah, this would be a huge boost to Michael Carrick and his squad. Just a few days to go now to the start of the new season. Manchester United are closing in on the signing of Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba. He's a player they've been chasing for some time now, and it is understood a deal is very close. United have a 5-year contract ready for him to sign. Meanwhile, Liverpool midfielder Curtis Jones is poised to join Inter Milan for around £30 million, and Tijani Reinders has completed a £51 million transfer from Manchester City to Saudi Pro League side Al Qadsiya. He was only at City for 1 season. Well, next to the football legend who's swapping his boots for his running shoes. Former Everton, Bolton and Man City star Peter Reid has recently celebrated his 70th birthday, and to commemorate the milestone, he's about to take on the UK's most famous half marathon, the Great North Run. He's running it for a fantastic cause with plenty of support from his daughter. I joined him in training. It's not how most people would mark their 70th birthday, but Peter Reid has always loved a challenge. His latest, the Great North Run. And with less than a month to go, training is in full swing.
I'll do it. I'll get there. I'm a bit worried about the right knee, but the training's going all right. And I've cut down on the alcohol consumption, which is the most difficult thing for me. But no, it's going great. And I don't know if you know the course. The last 4 miles to South Shields up in the northeast is brutal. It is brutal. So I need to get the training done.
Peter last took on the famous 13.1 mile race back in 1998 during his time as Sunderland manager. A year later, he fired the starting pistol.
When the gun frightened me to death. Yeah. Exactly that. Oh, that was funny. That I didn't realise how loud. I thought there was a sniper out there. Frightened me to, honestly, it scared me to death.
The man stood by his side that day is the reason he's running again. The foundation, created by the late Sir Bobby Robson, is raising £30 million for a new cancer hospital in Newcastle.
Well, Bobby Robson was a great fella. You know, one of the nicest people you ever meet, and cancer can hit anyone. And fortunately, a couple of weeks ago, the great Kevin Keegan. So it just shows you anyone. So it's a fantastic cause, and one that Bobby was very enthusiastic about.
But there's added inspiration too. Joining Peter in training is his daughter Louise. She was diagnosed with cervical cancer 10 years ago. Thankfully, she's now received the all clear.
It was just focusing, getting the operation, chemotherapy, and then just recovering, trying to be healthy, alkaline.
That sounds so easy, that, dear me.
I think it was only you that actually saw me without my wig, wasn't it? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't show anybody else, just my dad.
Tough time, Peter, yeah?
At the time, absolutely cleaned me out. I mean, you don't try to show it, but it was a tough time.
How proud are you and how impressed are you that he's taking on the Great North Run?
Yeah, I am. I struggle with 5K, so yeah, very proud, very proud. I'm sure he'll smash it. He's very determined.
This summer marks 40 years since Peter played in that game for England at the Mexico World Cup. Now he needs a helping hand as he appeals for sponsorship. And if you'd like to support Peter, then head to our website where you will find a link to his fundraising page. Well, next to rugby league and the welcome return of the Warrington Wolves captain. After 4 months out, George Williams is back and playing a crucial role in the club's end-of-season playoff push. In his second game after an injury layoff, he scored a decisive try as the Wolves beat Hull KR by 34 points to 28 in Super League. They are just 2 points behind joint leaders Leeds and Wigan. And finally, as Manchester City begin life without Pep Guardiola, a reminder of what the club will miss. A new documentary series is released today, charting Guardiola's final 2 seasons at City. Here's a clip from the changing room after a defeat to Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League.
When I see that, I'm exhausted, I'm drained. I want to quit. I'm tired, so tired. I feel alone. When you play like this, I feel alone. I go to the meeting to defend away.
Amazing clip. That's how I behave after a bad sports desk, isn't it?
Not a happy bunny. Mike, many thanks indeed.
Right, time for the weather. Here's Kerry.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you very much and a very good evening to you. We started off with some sunny spells this morning. A big thank you to Gail for this great shot in Cleveleys, but yes, the cloud bubbling up and those showers pushing from west to east. We do have a Met Office weather warning for thunderstorms overnight tonight, and then tomorrow those showers could merge to longer spells of rain sinking southwards, introducing a cooler feel through Thursday into Friday, and then hopefully a little drier and brighter by the weekend. But low pressure in charge for now, feeding in those weather fronts from the northwest. By later tomorrow into Friday, we get a northerly flow. It will feel considerably cooler than of late, and then high pressure nudging in for the weekend, making it a tiny bit more settled. But for this evening and overnight tonight, there are showers in the mix. They're likely to merge to longer spells of rain throughout the night, and we do have that Met Office weather warning in place. There could be an excess of 30-40 millimetres in places, particularly around the Wirral, around Liverpool area. We could be seeing quite a lot of rainfall by the end of the day. Of course, standing water and the risk of localised flooding certainly possible. 5:58 and 8:30 are your sun times as we head into tomorrow. An unsettled start, those showers once more merging to longer spells of rain and continuing their journey southwards, introducing a northerly flow. Nothing too strong in terms of those winds, but it is from a colder direction. 18 on the thermometer with scattered showers for the afternoon, but feeling more like 15. It will feel quite chilly out of any sunshine on Friday. The showers will be reserved for the coastline and the Isle of Man. And then as we head through into the weekend, we've got that high pressure. It nudges in. It makes it a little bit drier and brighter for the weekend, and some cooler nights too. Take care.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thanks, Kerry. That is it from us, and we will see you soon after the late news from me. Bye.